It's Clark and Perry
on the case.
Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry do what it takes. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.
Hello, and welcome to the Windy City's finest. I'm Clark, he's Perry, and we are joined today by Jordan Payne. Or do you prefer Sophie Wright?
When I'm in drag, I prefer Sophie.
In drag,
yes.
In drag. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm so excited, and thank you again so much for joining us here as well too for the interview.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a time for folks who don't know the process. We tried to book you earlier,
Yes,
but weren't able to make it out. But we were determined. I wanted to sit down with you and just get a chance to kind of dive a little bit into yourself and present you and see what you're all about as well too. So how about we could begin the interview by starting, where would you say or describe where your artistic story began?
My artistic story probably began when my mother put me in dance when I was like 5 years old. She put me in dance. I did tap, ballet, and modern for about 7 years. But I mean, drag has always been kind of a part of my life. It's really a part of the British culture. It's really part of the entertainment business. You've got pantomimes, you've got, British comedians who are always doing drag. And so it's always been kind of there. I feel like it's always been part of the destiny. It's been part of the timeline. It was just kind of a matter of when, who was going to, what opportunity was going to present itself for me to start.
I find that the culture is like certainly grown out and really kind of stretched its bounds and its roots and everything. And that's great to see performers like yourself kind of utilize that and show off that talent, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Exactly.
Right? No, that's lovely. So how would you describe dance played a role in what you do today?
I mean, it's really all about the movement and, feeling the character, feeling the emotions behind the songs. I remember we did an Austin Powers number and they dressed me up in the full Austin Power, with the fake teeth and everything. And it was just so good. And it was just so camp. And
but you love it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the crowd loves it too.
Yeah, and they wonder why I'm, a little fruity.
No, that's awesome. So I guess when it comes to like you as a drag performer, what would you consider one of your greatest accomplishments?
One of my greatest accomplishments in drag would have to be performing for Calgary Pride.
Really?
Yeah, I did that about 2 years ago. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think apart from that, I think another thing was being able to host my own show. So with Dee Dee's Playhouse, I was able to host my own monthly drag show. We did Drag Me to Hell, Drag Me to the Movies, Drag Me to the Grammys, Drag Me Back to School. Valentine's is Such a Drag, which was my favorite. Just because, everyone's so lovey-dovey with Valentine's. And I was like, babes, it's a drag. Let's have fun and, do that. So I think that was also one of my biggest accomplishments was being able to host and produce my own shows.
Yeah, and that's through the company of Theatre Outré. You were able to put on this show. And how long was this going on?
That went on 2 years.
2 years.
That was 2 years of shows. Yeah, it was wild.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was
and so how were these shows kind of constructed? Because a lot of people, for their frame of reference, might only know a drag show as to like, they see a few performers that dance and kind of lip sync or something. So what did you do in your show?
Variety. It was kind of, I wanted a bit of everything. I wanted, live performers. It was a variety show. So I wanted really a place for people to showcase, their talents and what they want, and then try new things and feel it's okay to falter. It's okay to fall. It's okay to maybe not fully accomplish what you wanted to, but you gave it a go. Yeah. And you were in a space that was safe enough that you could explore anything really,
because it's more than just the makeup. It's more than just the lip syncs, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of layers.
Some of them can sing live. It's not all lip syncing.
No, I love that. So I guess it kind of building upon that previous question I asked about the accomplishment. What are you still hoping to accomplish with this drag career?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I'd love to do more shows. It's so funny. People always talk about Drag Race. They're like, oh my God, are you going to be on the show? Are you going to be on Drag Race? Blah, blah, blah. Definitely not want to do that.
No.
I would love to be on Big Brother.
Ooh.
I don't know if we can say that on here.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Yeah, you absolutely can. Why do you want to be in Big Brother versus RuPaul's Drag Race?
Oh man, well, so RuPaul's Drag Race, as great as it is as a platform,
Absolutely.
it definitely, yeah, I mean, they own your name. Your name is no longer yours. You know, they own all those witty catchphrases that you say and stuff. And like,
yeah.
I'm funny. I'll say some funny stuff. And so I don't want RuPaul being like, oh, let's soundbite that and put that in my next like hit, you know? So Big Brother is just another way of kind of showing, you know, Canada and the world kind of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Representation is really important, especially as someone who identifies as non-binary. AMAB, which is assigned male at birth.
Mm-hmm.
I find that there's a lot of AFAB representation in the media, more than there is, you know, I've got a mustache and everything like that. So it's really kind of just like breaking those barriers, breaking those walls down, showing people that it doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah.
It's whatever you feel inside.
Yeah.
Because the mustache was a journey of itself within drag and within like just my regular life.
That's right. I've heard a few labels on what kind of drag performers those are. Is club drag a right, like, what would you call it?
It would be alternative.
Okay.
Alternative
rock?
from like the mainstream, you know. Club Kid is a little bit more like performance art. It's a little bit more avant-garde. It's a little bit more abstract.
Okay.
I don't really do abstract, but I don't, you know, I also don't conform to the gender norms of like, okay, you're a drag queen, so you're a female impersonator. So, you know, and I'm like, women can have beards too. Like people who present feminine can have facial hair as well. And so it's really just, my goal is to make people question and start that conversation. I remember one time I did a show out in Okotoks and I had a very old, very drunk woman come up to me and she goes, "You're gorgeous, you're beautiful, but I don't understand the mustache." And I said, good. That's good. That's what I want. I want people to really kind of take a moment and go, wow, she's beautiful. And she's got a mustache? Like, why not? Why not?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because that's a beautiful way of putting it as well too, where it gets people to kind of actually sit back and question within themselves. What is it that I like about this performance?
Yeah.
Like, because typically we're so used to seeing, albeit like a black and white version of what we think performance art is.
Yeah.
And I guess that really pushes the bounds.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So I just want to show more people, you know, different variety. Spice it up a little.
But I guess kind of taking a pedal back away from your artistic life, and so your life as a whole, what would you say that you need more of in that life?
More of in that life? Sleep. apart from sleep. No, I don't really know. That's a great question, really. Just kind of like, what do I need? I feel like I'm very grateful and very thankful and very blessed to have, you know, amazing friends, family, you know, a beautiful partner, a house, a roof over my head. You know, I was asked that question, like, what are you grateful for? A roof over my head, truly. Like, just being able to express who I am and be who I am.
Live in peace.
I need more drag though.
Yeah.
I need more drag. Yeah. I'm very thankful. You know, we do Wigs and Waffles and we do that about every 2-3 months.
Here in Lethbridge.
Here in Lethbridge, too, and it sells out every time. It's a staple now, Lethbridge staple. But yeah, I think I would love to have more drag. Yeah.
No, that's lovely, and I guess sticks with the brand too.
Yeah. You know?
So I guess in contrast, what do you need less of in your life?
What I need less of? I need less drama, which is hard for a drag queen. It's hard for a theater person.
I was about to say that kind of goes hand in hand with some folks, right?
I know these shady ladies. I need less drama.
Yeah.
More working together.
Yeah. So I guess. This is a good question. So when the drama kind of becomes a little too much, or maybe you're stuck in a bog or something like that, how do you cope when things get hard?
Well, I moved cities.
You did.
Truly.
Yes.
Truly.
You moved to Calgary and you've moved back to Lethbridge.
Yeah, when things got a little too elevated, I was like, I just got to get out for a second. Yeah, you got to cleanse the palate sometimes. You've got to just kind of take a step back and really kind of reevaluate. I lived by myself for about 2.5 years, so I feel like I gained a lot of perspective on not only myself but my relationships with other people here in Lethbridge, there in Calgary, and I felt like I was ready. I felt like I was renewed. You know, I felt like I had galvanized. I was ready to just like come back and go, all right, let's.
What
do it.
brought you back to Lethbridge?
Ugh.
A lot of people see, Calgary or the
Yeah.
other cities as like a place of growth and all that stuff too. But what brings you back here?
I think that my thing with Calgary for myself, I felt swallowed.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I couldn't really like get above water.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on, but I feel like sometimes it's too much maybe. And
Mm.
so for me, Lethbridge was kind of just like a nice little, it's like contained. It's very, everyone knows everyone here. We all know each other for the most part, within the scene,
community, right?
within the community. And so it was really nice to have those people that you can lean on, go, hey, I want to do a show with you. Hey, I want to, can I run this idea by you?
Yeah.
I spent about 7-8 years here before I moved. And so I was able to really kind of network while I was here. So, also a boy brought me back. Come on now, I can't even lie to you. I met a man and he brought me back here, and everyone, he's like, you're welcome. Literally, that's his response to everyone. They're like, wow, you're back. And he's like, you're welcome. That's me.
we have a lot to thank them for.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back home. Oh, that's lovely. I guess another question that we have as well too. So who or what would stick out as an early positive influence in your life?
Who or what? An early positive? I think my granddad. Yeah, my mum's dad.
Okay.
Yeah, my mum always said he was the last gentleman on earth. He was always he was a gentle giant. He was huge.
Yeah.
He was about 6'2",
Yeah.
massive, built, like a brick house. And he was always so kind and gentle, but when it came to his family, he was very protective.
Mm-hmm.
He had two contrasting sides to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, very, very gentle, very nice. And so I kind of, seeing a lot of that. I hung out with him a lot in my childhood. And so definitely seeing how he, how he interacted with
Do you
people
consider yourself a family person?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess who would you describe that you're most like in your family?
I think I'm a blend, actually. I've noticed that I think I'm kind of a blend of my mum and my dad.
Right.
I don't have the short fuse of my father, but I definitely have the maybe the assertiveness. And then my mother, it's a combination of both. I think growing up I was more like my mother because I spent more time around her, but as I've kind of matured and I've aged, it's kind of this combination of both.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So you grew up actually over in Okotoks, is that right?
Yeah. Well, born and
Originally
raised
from?
in the UK.
Born and raised in the UK
Yes.
as well too. So,
yeah, Northeast London.
So how do you feel about where you grew up?
Wow, it was such a change. It was very, very shocking.
Yeah.
It was a very kind of I grew up in the outer city, London, hustle bustle. Everyone lives on top of each other. It's very cramped. To going to somewhere where it's a big house. It was very, very shocking. It was a shock to the system for sure. Being in Okotoks, being in a small town. Yeah, you wouldn't really consider it a small town now, but back in 2006, it was definitely small. So, it was weird. Yeah, it was very, very weird. Yeah,
that obviously takes a lot to have to pack up all your bags and move an entire continent
and just have no idea where I am, kind of what's going on. I remember my first week of school. The LA teacher was like, "Oh, here's a map of Canada. This is some really easy grades. Put down all the provinces." I was like, "You what, mate?" I was like, "Okay, Alberta, done." I was like, "I think Ontario's somewhere over here." I knew BC was next to us, but that was it. That's all I knew. And so it was a little isolating for sure, because I was like, and there are different words for different things, which you wouldn't think there are, but there are. Yeah. I embarrassed myself a few times, but it's all part of the growth,
Yeah, no, exactly. So how long would you say that your transition kind of took when it came to, moving from the UK, landing here in Canada? How long would you say that until you got pretty
comfortable?
Yeah.
I would say probably about a year or two. Yeah, I didn't really kind of feel like I'd kind of sunk and settled until I was probably in around grade 9. Yeah.
Oh, that's
definitely
good.
Took a while.
Quite the journey for sure to bring it here. Excellent. So I guess the next question that we can ask is something more kind of like towards your personal values. So what personal values are most important to you right now?
Personal values, honesty. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Openness.
Openness.
Transparency, trust, family, friends. Yeah.
And that's kind of grown over like the course of your years of life.
Yeah.
Were there any particular moments that you knew that, hey, this was very important to me? Or
yeah, I think when I was in Calgary for 2.5 years. Yeah, because I really isolated myself down there, whether it was on purpose or not really sure at this moment, but really kind of became a hobbit, hermit down there. And not a hobbit, a hermit, that's what I meant. Okay, anyways, I watched Lord of the Rings last week. It's still fresh in the mind. It's still there, rattling around somewhere. But yeah, I think really just like being by myself and having time to look inwards and really kind of what I value in my life. I think everyone should live by themselves for a time.
For some time.
Yeah,
right?
for some time.
Just to kind of get into that groove of things.
Yeah, because you really have to kind of be okay with yourself. You have to be comfortable with yourself. You have to really kind of figure out what you're doing and why you do the things you do, and find your authentic self.
Yeah. And so like this experience of you living with yourself for the 2.5 years, did that help inform your drag in any way? Yeah,
I mean, I was doing drag in Calgary, so it definitely like it really kind of pushed me. I was really like, oh, okay, like I really have to step it up.
Yeah.
If that's in performance, if that's in makeup, like I really have to, and I kind of learnt from the performers up there. I kind of learned, their makeup styles, because for me, my makeup style has kind of been a collection of over the years. I a lot of YouTube tutorials, a lot of different other tutorials, and just seeing how different people do it, and just gonna be like, oh, I like how that person does their highlight. Oh, I like how that person does their lipstick. Oh, I like how, and so it's just been, I mean, doing drag in Calgary really just kind of like forced me to get it together.
Yeah. Well, I guess it really helped kind of amp up that growth for yourself as well too, right? So no, that's very interesting. And I guess with the 2.5 years of living with yourself, you don't have anybody kind of sitting around to either push you, or it's all got to come from within, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I bet that was again a big piece of growth.
It was an eye-opening moment for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could travel anywhere, where would you go?
If I could travel anywhere, I'd probably go back to Dublin, honestly.
Dublin,
I've been there twice now, and it's just...
That's right. Through a lot of work with Theatre Outré.
So we did the international... I'm going to mess it up. I think it's called the Dublin International Gay Theatre Festival, or it's one of the things. International Gay Dublin Theatre Festival. One of those. Anyways, did that twice, with Theatre Outré. And I mean, that was another moment that I was really proud of. The second time when we went with Jay Whitehead, and he did his show 333.
Right.
I was actually nominated for an award for my acting, and so that was really cool. I didn't win. It's okay. It's fine. It's whatever.
This year.
Not this year. Next year. So that was definitely. I would love to go back to Dublin. Yeah. I would love to go to Greece.
Yes. I can say it was pretty fun.
So someone I know went to Greece. You're lucky. So definitely want to go like Europe, and I've been looking at one-way flights to London and then flights to everywhere else, like out of London, because it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, it's really cheap. Good little life hack for you.
Yeah, there we go.
Just one way it everywhere.
So did your experience in Dublin ever kind of inform your way of performance or
I mean,
drag as
we got to see a ton of drag while we were there. Their drag scene is wild. They have their like witchy Wednesdays on the Wednesday. They have like their Thursday. It's just so much. And it was really cool to be like, oh wow, okay, like they're doing it this way, and they've got these different performers, and everyone's so supportive, and just to see the different styles, and
really nice to kind of see their culture versus
it was
what
like,
you're already
okay,
doing
this is what Dublin is doing for their drag scene, like it's good to know kind of thing.
Are there any things that you've taken from Dublin and applied to
Song
your
seletions.
song selection.
I'm like, these girls know what is up. Someone did Evanescence, Bring Me Back to Life.
oh my goodness.
And I was like, why have I never thought about it? You know, someone did like Christina Aguilera, Fighter, and I was like, yes, get it. So definitely their song, I was like, yeah, they know what's going on here.
I guess I didn't even think about that there can be a discovery in what songs you're going to
Yeah,
do for
because
your
there's going to be
performance.
different songs depending on what region of the world you're in, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do songs here that were only kind of popular in Europe, and so you've only
Right.
got like a handful of people, you know, it's mostly just the DJs.
Yeah.
That are like, wow, I know this song, and no one else. Everyone else is like, I don't know what this song is. You know, so there's definitely different songs that made it big here that didn't make it big in Europe, and vice versa. So
oh wow,
Yeah.
no, that's kind of an eye opener
Yeah.
as well too for I hope our viewers.
yeah,
to-
song selection is wild.
Yeah.
It's really, really wild because you really want to, you know, you don't always necessarily want to do like the same kind of dancey upbeat,
Mhm.
but at the same time you have to entertain, right? And
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
always about the upbeat dancey, which is why sometimes I like to do like a ballad, or I like to
Yeah.
do like a musical theater piece that's
Mhm.
maybe just a little bit, just shake it up a little bit.
It's Clark and Perry on the case. Clark and Perry, do what it takes. Clark and Perry, investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.